Off-type plants can be identified as early as at nursery stage. Nursery stage. Off-types are identified as too tall or too short. Leaf blades are too thin or too broad. Difference in pigmentation, like purple colour at the base of the leaf blade. Off-types having those undesirable characteristics are pulled off and rejected at nursery stage. Maximum tillering stage. Off-types are identified as too tall or too short. Leaf blades are too thin or too broad. Leaf blades are too short or too long. Different in pigmentation, such as purple colour at the base of the leaf blade. Tillers are too spread out or too erect and will form different canopy shape. Off-types having those undesirable characteristics are pulled off and discarded at maximum tillering stage. Flowering stage. This stage is ideal and easy for identification of off-types. Off-types are identified as panicles are exerting too early or too late, displaying characteristics such as early flowering or late flowering. Spikelets are different in shape, such as too round, too slender, or bearing awn. Sometimes spikelets show different pigmentation. Plants are too short or too tall. Difference in panicle exertion, such as fully exerted or partially exerted. At flowering stage, farmers have the best chance for identifying off-type plants. On the other hand, at that stage, plants are vulnerable from people entry into the field. The technique of skipping every 7th row during transplanting operation allows farmers to enter into the field without disturbing and injuring plants and panicles in flowering stage. The practice of skipping 1 row after every block of 6 rows transplanted is found to be the most convenient for effective field inspection, conducted without damaging plants and impacting production and yield. It's appropriate and convenient also for pest and disease management. Off-type plants are removed by cutting them at the base, or by breaking or bending hard the plants in a manner which will not let the spikelets mature. Generally, it takes 10 to 15 days for a variety to complete the flowering stage. Excess water in the field at flowering will prolong the flowering stage. Draining excess water and maintaining soil at saturated level at this stage will let poor productive tillers to wither, so that productive tillers will receive more starch and bear better quality seed. Maturity stage. After the flowering stage, the plants approach maturity within 20 days, through milking stage, dough stage, and fully mature stage. It's easy to identify off-types at maturity stage by observing panicle characters, grain characters, and life cycle. Nevertheless, some physical constraints will be there, as it's not practical to access the field and plants at that stage. Look for the following panicle characters. Panicle exertion. Angle of spikelets such as compact, open, spreading or drooping spikelets. Position of panicle and flag leaf. Check if the panicle is showing above the flag leaf or hidden by the flag leaf. Observe for the following grain characters. Grain shape, such as bold, round or slender. Presence of awns. Colour and pigmentation of the grain, such as straw colour, brown streaks presence, dark or light colour. Red grain panicles are discovered by observing panicles against sunlight in the early morning at about 8 AM, when spikelets are wet due to mist. To screen based on life cycle, observe for some early flowering and late flowering plants, which could have escaped from being spotted during field inspection at the flowering stage and are now fully exposed at the maturity stage. Break down the plant or bend the plant. Uprooting at that stage will be a Herculean task. Furthermore, it will be easy to recognise a bent plant later on. It's sometimes difficult for the farmer to discard late-flowering off-type plants because of their attractive panicles. Some farmers like to leave those plants during harvesting for collecting panicles later to use as grains. It's advisable to remove these plants in order to avoid risk of mechanical mixture. An early off-type will benefit from less competition for nutrients as the main plant population has not yet started to flower. A late off-type will start to take in nutrient later, when the main plants have already completed growth, and this off-type may appear good-looking. Nevertheless, farmers will have to remove those off-types as they're not the appropriate variety. Check for pests and diseases and adopt appropriate measures. Often, farmers won't strictly follow these 3 stages for roguing. They'll visit the seed plot regularly and identify the off-type as they emerge, and will remove them spontaneously. 1 month after transplanting, the workload diminishes and farmers have more time for observation and roguing. Harvest. At maturity stage, it's essential to harvest the seed plot separately from other plots. The border of the seed plot is particularly vulnerable. Mechanical mixing occurs because of lodging of the plants in the adjacent rice plot and interweaving of rice plants and grain-bearing panicles from both plots. To avoid mechanical mixture, it's recommended to harvest 1 metre of the seed plot all along the field borders, disregarding them as quality seed but keeping them as grain. Locally, farmers push down rice plants about 1 metre all over the border of the seed plot to avoid mechanical mixture from the adjacent plot. To minimise lodging impact, it's possible as a prevention to push the plant population in one direction, for example before a heavy rain. This will have several benefits to protect against negative impact of lodging, such as the plant will lodge in the same direction with no interweaving. Each bended row will protect the next one from falling into the water. Timely harvesting. Timely harvesting operation is essential to avoid losses incurred by harvesting too soon or too late. Grains harvested too early result in high percentage of immature seeds. Grains harvested too late expose the seeds to cracking, insects, rodents, bird predation, and additional risk by lodging or shattering. The time for reaping of seed and grain is different. Locally, farmers have evolved the habit to keep the panicle for seed production a bit longer in the field, in order to allow the seed to become heavier as the rice plant is still feeding the grain. It's recommended to harvest rice for quality seed at about 3 to 5 days later than for grain, when the panicle is dry and the grains have reached optimum growth. For quality seed production after reaping panicle, immediately bundle them and transport to a separated place in the threshing floor. Threshing. Before threshing, clean properly and thoroughly the thresher. Check every corner where different seed and grain varieties can be caught or trapped. Select an isolated area on the threshing floor for processing the quality seeds. If possible, and if the right moisture content of the seed is achieved, thresh immediately to avoid mixture with other varieties coming from the field. Check the moisture content of the straw. It should not be humid. After threshing, separate the seed from the shaft and bag the seed in PVC clean bags or new bag. Check the bag for any old grain. Drying, winnowing, cleaning and bagging. Good drying is crucial to minimise post-harvest losses. It directly affects seed quality. Drying is essential to maintain seed viability and vigour after a long period of storage. Drying controls mould growth, seed discoloration, and other organisms that reduce the quality and market value of stored seed. For efficient drying, choose a separated area and use a tarpaulin, and if possible a sieve net. The sieve net will allow adequate air movement. Dust and chaff go through the net and seeds are trapped on top. The tarpaulin protects from ground moisture. Seeds should be dried during 3 to 5 days. Cover the seed lot at the end of the day with a tarpaulin and carry them to a protected shelter safe from rain and rodents. A sun-drying temperature of about 40 to 43 degrees Celsius is recommended for seeds. Higher temperature can lead to physiochemical disorders in the seed. To check the proper moisture content, a traditional method consists to bite the seed with the molar teeth. The seed should break with a cracking sound. While stirring properly dried seed, we should be able to hear a dry, clinking musical sound. Start drying late in the morning when no more dew is present. Stir the seeds 3 times in a day for an even drying. Pack and protect the seeds for the night in the tarpaulin sheet by 4 p.m. before condensation. Clean the seed from undesirable materials such as weed seeds, straw, chaff, panicle stems, empty grains, damaged grains, sands, stone and dust. Winnowing removes chaff and dust, small weak seed and light seed. Winnowing can be performed according to local practice. Now that grain moisture is stabilised at an optimum 13%, temperature cooled down and seeds are dried and clean, it's almost time for bagging. Keep the seed at constant temperature under shade and shelter for 1 or 2 more days to allow cooling down and an even temperature. Before bagging, a final quality check can be performed. Test with a moisture meter. Inspect visually that the seeds are free from impurity or other seeds. Feel that the seeds are free from dust. Perform a germination test. Seeds should have at least a germination rate of 85%. It's possible also to send a seed sample to an agricultural station to check according to government standard. Finally, bag the seed in a hermetic, airtight PVC layered distinct bag for quality seed. Use a new bag or a clean bag. Check that no holes are present. Make sure that no other kind of seeds are present in the bag. Make 2 labels for each bag. 1 to be placed inside the bag and 1 to attach outside the bag. Indicate information such as the name of the variety, name of the producer and location, percentage of germination and date of production. Conclusion. A quality seed production programme allows the farmer to maintain and improve the genetic potential of our local varieties. The crop, resulting from quality seed, will have uniform growth and vigorous plant stand, resulting in efficient and easier crop management, preservation of grain quality and higher yield. Quality seed producers earn extra income by selling their quality seed to other farmers as parent seeds for the grain crop. Price of quality seeds fetch up to double the price compared to ordinary seeds. Local farmers don't mind this extra initial cost, as they have observed the numerous advantages and benefits of a crop grown from quality seeds. Ultimately, this seed quality production programme supports our farming community to conserve our precious heritage of rice genetic resources and rice varietal diversity, which has been passed by our ancestors from generation to generation.